Yep.
All right, and look, we went live already. Look at that. Hey, everybody, happy Monday, April 23rd. We're here at the TED Show at the beautiful Citrus Club on this very cloudy day. I am excited to be here. Let us know you can hear us and see us before I introduce my very fascinating guest.
I should have did a mic check.
You should have done a mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. I did it. It sounded good. Hey,
did,
Tony.
okay.
Hey, Willow. Okay, so we got a thumbs up, so that's good. So this is my guest, Anwar Superstar. I just like to say that, super duper. So we've been having a great conversation beforehand. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very, very happy to have you on here. I read your entire Wikipedia. I'm jealous because I want a Wikipedia, at least I think I do. I don't know what that means. I'm not in the, hey Jill, I'm not in the superstar status yet, but
I was just in DC.
Oh, see, everybody, look, everybody's, this is the great thing about Facebook Live. It's like having an immediate audience. You've got these hearts and all that stuff going across there. And our dear friend, Boris, who's in the audience, by the way, introduced us and suggested you come on the show. So we love Boris. A big shout out to Boris, who's in the corner.
That's my
guy. So welcome, my friend. You look great.
Thank
I
you.
Love your outfit. Purple, right? I like your socks, which they can't see, but we'll have to post something later because apparently, did you guys call each other to play on the purple shirts? I love it. Willow, we did not. He looks so much better. My cheeks, this is my thing. This is why I love Facebook Live, because there's no editing at all. So whatever happens, this is the way it is. Hey, Fred. Hey, Willow. All right, so give us a little background on you, because you're, other than Wikipedia, and we're gonna all of you who messaged me and said, where is he? How can I find him? Wikipedia isn't enough. How do I reach him? We're gonna share all that either during the video or afterward, because he's sort of an enigma, but we're gonna make him so he's not an enigma anymore.
We're working on it.
We're working on it. All right, so give us some history. Welcome, my friend. I appreciate you being here.
So let's start with, I'm a Jersey guy. Anybody
what part
from
of Jersey? I am.
I'm East Orange born, Atlantic City raised.
Okay, I was
just
born in
Jersey
Bergen County.
Bergen County.
I was born in Ridgewood, New Jersey.
Ridgewood, okay.
I don't talk like that anymore, but
yeah, okay. This is why the purple happened.
That's why
it's a Jersey
it's a royal thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm just a rose that grew in the Garden State,
Nice, and people don't, my wife didn't believe me. She actually thought I lived in a shack until she started watching The Real Housewives of New Jersey. And she's like, oh my God, you have houses there? Yes, sweetie.
Yes.
We have the gardens, we're the Garden State, for heaven's sake. You lived in Ridgewood? Oh, no way, Rob, how funny. And Hohokus. I haven't thought of Hohokus in 1,000 years.
Hohokus.
Oh my God, that's a blast from the past. Yeah. All right, so you were born and raised in around East Orange and Atlantic City.
I was raised in Atlantic City on the beach. I'm a beach boy, kind of.
Nice.
And that's kind of where music started for me, was in East Orange. My uncle had one of the first rap groups in East Orange back in the very early 80s. So I grew up with the music.
Were you born then?
I am. I am much older than I look.
Yeah,
fortunately.
I love it.
Yeah, so I grew up with the music, and then in the late 90s, I kind of picked it up from my uncle and tried my hand at it. And at first, I was really bad.
I don't believe you were bad.
I was really bad.
What kind of music? Did you sing? Did you rap?
I was a
hip-hop?
rapper. You know what? I wanted to be a singer up until high school. And then I sung for a girl in high school, and she let me know that I wasn't a singer.
All right, so that changed the trajectory of your life.
Right, it definitely did. It definitely did. The words were good, but the voice wasn't there.
Yeah, can you have somebody else sing that, honey? Because that would be better.
Please. So I wind up starting to write in high school, and then back then you had to, in lunch and cafeteria times, you would have a battle with someone else. And at first I was
you had singing battles?
Yes, man.
All right, I thought that was just made up.
It's almost like Fame.
Oh, no way. See, you are old enough to know Fame. How was that?
Yeah, that's right. It was almost like this. So it was that kind of deal. So you wind up, challenging people, and the better you get, then the more people want to challenge. And then you start to develop a name for yourself.
Nice.
And back then it wasn't Anwar Superstar. It was another name that I will not mention. That's not going to happen. Anybody who watching this or sees this who knows it, do not do that.
Uh-oh.
That name shall not be spoken.
Why? Hey, Jen, why can't that name be spoken?
Because when you start out with your first cool name, it's not cool.
I've never had a cool name, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, okay. So when you do your first one, it won't be cool.
It will never
Takes
be
about
cool.
4 names before you get a good one. And the interesting thing is, I settled in with my birth given name. Like Anwar is my birth given name. The superstar came after I really got good at rapping. I was doing battles went from doing it in Atlantic City to doing it backstage at BB King's and in New York at these big events, and I was good.
So how do you become good? I'm fascinated by this because my kids all love anything rap oriented, and I think it's generational. Because when I grew up, the first rap song I ever heard was Rapper's Delight. Right? So that was just a fun song kind of rap to, but there's a real talent, there's a grittiness, a street, for lack of a better word. You have this power in the words. So how do you come up with the words, and then how do you get them to rhyme, for lack of a better word?
So one thing you have to do is be extremely witty. That's something that's lost.
Which is why I'm not.
You have to be quick, so like if you say something to me, I have to be able to say something back.
Yeah, it's kind of like
it's
improv,
like
right?
Yeah, it's like the dozens. It's like, snapping on someone. It's like you say something and I say something back.
Yes.
If I wait too long to say something back, then I'm no longer funny.
Correct.
So it's kind of like that same thing when you're writing. You don't want to have downs in the moments where people are listening to you, but nothing happens.
But how do you come from, so the words, I understand, that comes from the heart, that comes from
experience.
But then how do you get and somebody told me as I was joking about names, to stick with Ted. No problem there. Eric Rawlings, I love you. But how do you get the rhythm, for lack of a better, or the music behind it, or how does that all work? Because you've got the words, and then how do you know, all right, this is how I want people to hear it?
That develops over time. You feel more internally. You have something that you want to get out, whether it's environment that you're in, like how society's happening, whether it's things that you're seeing. Like right now there's a big push with Me Too movement.
Yes.
So those people are experiencing those things in real time. So what happens is when that person stands up there and gives a speech or speaks, the emotion, you see it immediately.
Correct.
So it's no different in when you're writing something. It's like the emotion just happens if it's genuine. That's why you can take a quick step from what's genuine and what's not. People say, oh, I feel this person.
Correct.
Or I relate to this person differently than when somebody's just having a party or having a good time.
Right.
Those are different things. I wasn't a party guy. All of my things were like really emotional, like real life events that I needed to speak about.
People must have responded to you because of the authenticity.
The stories
of your
were
show.
real.
The stories were real, and I think that's across all genres. One of the reasons why we talked about social media is I feel like you've got this voice, this platform that a lot of people would respond to and can respond to. Not that they haven't already, but there is such a power in that. And because you immediately, he's as engaging as you guys are seeing over there. Hey, Neil. It's important to get that message out. Totally important to get that message out.
Yeah.
So what did you do? So you decided, all right, I'm not going to sing, and then you said, all right, I can rap. I'm good at that. I'm great at that. What was the next step? What happened next?
Well, it started from poetry. I was writing poetry, and one of my teachers in high school was like, I want to enter you into this poetry contest. And I had to submit 2 poems, and then it was published. So now I was like, oh, I got a thing for writing.
Love it.
And then once it started with the poetry, then people were like, oh, well, I heard that you rap, because of my uncle was a rapper, and then I would claim to be a rapper. And then it was like, now you have to show and prove. And then I was always extremely confident. I was an athlete, so I was like extremely confident. So I would be like, oh yeah, I can.
Well, you had talent.
I didn't know I had talent. Like, I worked tirelessly.
Understood.
It didn't happen like, oh, I'm going to write a rhyme. It's going to happen in 10 seconds. Like, no, it would be like all night.
Sometimes that's what it appears to, like, honestly, sometimes I hear people rap. I'm like, how did you do that? But it's work behind it. There's a lot of work. Not just talent, but it's just like anything else, you're working at it. You're trying to hone your craft.
Right. The more that you write, the better you get at it. the more that you see, the more that you can talk about. And then you just draw analogies. So you basically take something that I'm from a place that you might not understand. But how do I help you understand that?
Correct.
So I have to draw a line from where I'm at to where you're at. I can't talk about a situation that you don't understand without presenting it in a way that it relates to a situation
100%.
that you do. And I think that's kind of what my gift was taking something so complex and making it relatable.
But that's a beautiful gift, because a lot of times I feel like you didn't see the post, but we'll share it with you later. I talked about diversity, because I think a lot of times people don't understand, and there isn't somebody willing to try to explain it in a way that the other person can understand, because it's not all the time that people just don't want to understand. It's just that they really don't have a frame of reference.
Right.
So if you're willing to take the time to explain where you're coming from, where you're at, in a way that's relatable to me or to your audience, that's a huge gift. It's powerful.
Right, and that starts again from the beginning of hip hop, where I have to be more creative than you. So when people hear me, I have to be more creative, because we're both using words. You're sitting here saying something, I'm sitting here. Well, what separates me from you is the way that I can put my words together. So I have to find out a difference. I can't just say the sky is blue.
Right.
I have to compare the sky to something.
Correct.
You will hear, like in the early 2000s, you will always hear somebody saying, my diamonds are blue as something. It's always got to be like a metaphor, a simile that you're comparing it to, which now, when I say that, now it doesn't matter where you're from. You understand what that is.
100%.
If I say it's blue as the sea, then you're saying, okay, I know the sea, okay, that makes sense to me.
Right.
And that's how hip-hop is kind of like engaged people across. Like, I've been in Japan, and I've seen people who, when I thought they spoke English because they sung every word, and didn't.
Correct.
And
that's why
incredible.
Your message and your music and your platform are universal, and the fact that you fellow Black fashion vegans unite. Hey Royce, hey Shirley. Shirley said love the purple today. That was not planned, but I think that you're giving them this voice, and so when you have that universal message, which is what you're talking about, people relate to it. There's no language barrier at that point.
No, it's not. And again, the emotion. I don't have to be able to understand the words to feel the vibration.
Correct.
I think that's another aspect of what I was doing in music. And I think the superstar came about because of confidence. And it's like, if you walk into that room, and if I walked into a room like I walked into this room, and I just know that I'm here, and you got to know that I'm here as well.
Right.
And that kind of confidence is something that develops in hip hop. Like, if you don't have confidence, then you'll get swallowed up. Like, you're not going into these battles as a young man not confident, because you won't be able to display what you're trying to say.
But you have this passion that obviously you want to get across. Like you said earlier, which I loved, it's inside you. It has to come out. There's this creativity. There's this message, this voice, and you want to get it out, and you want to get it out in a way that everybody can see and can relate to, because it's important to you. It's cathartic. It's healing, right? There's all sorts of amazing things. You want people to understand your perspective, and you're willing to go the extra mile. That's the thing I want to give you tons of credit for, because a lot of people just want to argue. They just want to discuss. They want to tell their point, but they don't want to try to really make someone understand what you're feeling or thinking.
Right, and one thing I don't want to get lost in this is hip-hop is not, even though it comes across that way on screen, it's not me intensive. So what I mean by that is, I'm an orator for everyone in Atlantic City.
Right.
So when I speak in the manner I speak of Atlantic City, and I tell you these stories, these aren't just stories of mine, these are stories of everyone. And this is hip-hop across the board, is you get to tell a story for people who aren't as articulate, who
Correct.
don't have that voice. And there's a great responsibility in making sure that people understand it, and it's not misinformed to the people who might not relate to it. You have to be able to give that to them and then be able to say,
yes,
I'm saying this for me and I'm standing up front, but there's so many people behind me that are living this exact same life that just can't express it. And if I have the platform, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story about Atlantic City that you don't know past the casinos.
Right.
Let me tell you a story about the people that are from here. Let me name some of these people. And then when the people hear that from there, they're like, wow, somebody's really speaking for me.
Correct. And that's the power, for example, of this particular show, is that you're getting a message across and you're sharing with people who normally wouldn't know your message and wouldn't understand where you're coming from, and you're giving them insight into you and into your thought process, and people get a lot out of that. So thank you for sharing all of that. I love it.
Thank you.
All right, so where did you go music-wise? What happened? Did you, since you didn't sing,
no singing.
with credit to that girl, what happened next?
After I started to move up in music, I started to get like flown out to different labels, and I would go meet execs, and I was superstar. Like, someone else gave me that name. Like, I'm not that narcissistic that I was like, I'm superstar. Like, someone else coined the name for me on radio. They said, was giving shout outs, and it was like, Anwar, the superstar. And that was basically people who knew me and knew how I approached when I showed up and care about, like, I'm the best thing that happened here today. So that was my approach. So I took that approach into record execs, and they weren't as happy with the approach.
Really?
They loved the music, but was like, this guy. I had someone say to me one time, I hope you never make it. Because
who says that to someone?
That's what I mean. I thought it was the most horrible thing.
That's horrible.
But this is the thing. I was so consumed with myself that I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I wasn't even offended.
You're
I was
like, whatever.
Whatever.
Dude, you don't define me.
You don't have to, so at the end of the day, I was going in there, I was extremely obnoxious, and I was like, either going to sign me now or just let me go.
Right.
And they were like, whoa, do we really want to deal with this guy after we give him $1 million budget?
Right.
Like, if this is the presentation from Go, like, do we really want to? And I really wasn't, my brother had been in the industry at that point, in the entertainment industry, period, at that point for over 20 years. So I'd done meetings with my father, which were $1 million meetings. I had seen these things. I already knew how these guys worked. And I was really like, don't want to hear it. This is what it is, da-da-da. And they were like, we have the money. Yeah, no.
I mean, there's some truth to that. So you had to find a balance.
Yeah, well, what I had to do is I realized that, one, that the music was moving in a direction that I wasn't moving in.
Right.
And I wanted to be more in control of my movements inside the industry. So I transitioned, which is why no one can find me musically on the internet. I transitioned into the business part of it, which is I didn't want to have other artists go through what I went through.
Right.
Where it wasn't about the art and the talent, it was about a personality. And I didn't think that the message had anything to do with the personality. You brought me here because you like the music.
Right.
So now it's changing that. If you like the music, why not give people, a broader group of people, an opportunity to experience that?
I love it.
And that wasn't it. And I was like, well, then that is not art now.
Correct.
You're making a determination for the world as in a way that I wasn't comfortable with.
Right.
So I moved into the business aspect of it. My first company I started was Garden Grown. Jersey, grown in a garden. Jersey all day. So it's Garden Grown, and what we started to do was trying to change the way that people experienced music. So we did, my first event was Science of Speech, and we've done that domestically, internationally. And what it was about was really what we just talked about, the way that music transcends borders. So the science of speech.
I love
that. So
that.
where you can go into a place that English isn't the native language, and those people can feel a vibration, and vice versa.
Well, like you experienced in Japan.
Exactly.
Right.
So you would experience these things, and that to me was the beginning of, okay, now we have a show, but how do we make it different? How do we make it feasible for people? If I'm going to put 10 acts on the bill, then I'm going to have to charge somebody $250. That's not feasible for regular people. That's not feasible for people that come from where I came from in Atlantic City. It was important to me to be able to make it affordable.
Right.
So when I moved into business, I moved into business with these like great outlooks of how I'm going to champion the little guy kind of.
And how did that work?
Not well. It worked well for me. I mean, it made me, wildly successful in what I do.
Well, you're an optimist, obviously. So
oh, absolutely.
The way that you approach things, it's very optimistic, and you see the glass half full, which I love.
3/4 of the way full.
Oh, mine's always full, so I'm with you. But that's not always what it takes to get your message across. Like, that's a great way to be, but it doesn't always guarantee success. So you had artists that worked with you, right? Is that what you were
Right.
trying to do?
Right.
And so how did that play out? Because are you still doing that? Are you still...
Actually, we just worked with in DC. Like I said, this weekend we just did an event with a group out there, Feed the Scene, for 420, and 6,000 people came out. It was sold out at the new Anthem on the waterfront, and it's great. The people come out, they experience. It's a great thing. My thing is another step in that is we have to be able to leave more.
Agreed.
You know, it's like,
that.
I don't want to just come in, take money, then
Yep.
leave the city.
Yep.
Like, how do we leave more? How do we have residual effects of that good vibe? Because a lot of that is missing right now in society. It's like, where's the good vibe? Like, we have a good vibe here.
Absolutely.
But we know
Well
that we
said
can
it.
go outside and somebody could just like try to break that vibe because
And
they're
they
not
will.
in that space.
No, people do.
But we have to get, because people naturally want to be feeling good.
Correct.
Nobody wants to be, I don't think.
I can't figure out people that don't, like, when they try to break other people's good vibe, I'm always amazed at that. Why? Just, why don't you capitalize on it or get into it or get into the groove or say, hey, I want to be part of your good vibe. Instead, they want to break it down and try to crash it. And
Right.
I'm amazed at people like that. But that's unfortunately the norm over the exception, which is crazy to me. Like, I love having, this conversation has been fantastic. Like, everything we've talked about, didn't know, like, this is a great thing about live TV, Facebook. I had no idea what we were getting into, but I prefer it that way. People are like, did you prep? Did you make questions? No, because it's all about engaging. It's all about listening.
Right.
And if I am only focused on the next question, then I'm not listening to you and I'm not engaging with you.
Right. And no, it's organic. It's happening. This is happening completely organic.
Absolutely.
You know, I had a cappuccino and we were
So
going.
did I, allegedly.
We were
Allegedly.
going. So, but
What
yeah,
are you doing? So talk about what you're doing now.
So now I'm exploring different ways to make regular people's lives easier. Through
love
tech,
that.
working on an app right now that in a way will help people who don't understand the stock market, but still are looking for ways to invest, but may not have the benefits of a 401k or not receiving the benefits in their 401k that is actually going to be able to sustain them through. So how do we help people be able to invest and make money?
How'd you go from music to an app? Like, and music, and then production of music and entertaining with other groups, to all of a sudden now you're a technology guy.
Well, music went that way.
Music did go that. I agree.
Like when's the last time you bought a physical hard copy of something?
I have not.
You stream everything.
I stream
If you want to listen to it, you get a iTunes subscription
I have
or
Spotify.
Tidal or Spotify, whatever one you want to use, and then you listen to it on your phone technology and you stream what we're doing now is again like utilizing the technology. So that's the space. Really, it's the space that is being underappreciated as far as other industry. Like, yeah, you got investment apps, but those investment apps are just extensions of Wall Street. But I don't understand that.
But how'd you go? Like, how did you go? All right, I'm putting on the music thing that you talked about, Feed the Scene, right?
Right.
How did you go from that, and then all of a sudden go, I want to be in the app business, or I want to try to be in the financial. I want to help people in their finances or investing. That's a big leap. That's not just a normal genre like, okay, music to producer to talent director.
I'm not those things. I'm a businessman.
See, he
So,
defined himself as a businessman.
I'm a businessman.
First.
So
I love that.
What I look for is what I was taught by my mentor, and anybody who's in business will understand this. Find the need,
Right.
and then supply the need.
Correct.
And then
Supply and demand.
what happened through music and what I've done and from where I come from, these things are all interrelated. It's a synergy that happens. It was a synergy that happened between my upbringing and the music. There was a synergy that happened between the music and then me going into business and being an agent and a producer, da-da-da. Those things all went hand in hand. My experience at growing up led to me wanting to do the music. The music led to me, in that industry led to me wanting to create a different platform. And all of those things are still significant in the fact that through music, I've seen the world.
Right.
And when I saw it the first time, I seen it through rose-colored glasses.
Correct.
4.5-star hotels, these kind of things. Everybody screaming your name. This kind of thing is intoxicating. And you think, okay, this place is great. And then the second time around, you get a chance to spend a little more time in these areas, and you say, oh, these people are struggling.
Correct.
Like, I made a lot of money here,
100%.
but those people who had to pay that money really are
But it's not all about you at that point. Then you're
Right.
really taking inventory of what's happening around you and the people that are paying to see you perform. Sometimes that's a half of their paycheck or a big chunk of their paycheck. So I love the introspection. See, I want people to yell. Like Boris hasn't yelled, "Hey Ted, go Ted!" Like, I'm kidding. No, but I understand that.
Cheerleader is good. My wife is my biggest cheerleader.
Well, let's talk about her. So you're married. You have a child. How many children?
Yes, I have one child. My daughter. She's amazing. She's right now training to be. She would be the youngest yogi in Orlando, but she's training to be. She's only 8. And she's trying to get a certification to teach. She actually teaches yoga classes here with her, with Miss Candace.
She's
Hi,
8?
Miss Candace. She's 8.
Oh my gosh.
And I
that's
actually
amazing.
put her in yoga because I thought that she might have some anger issues. And she's just driven. Like, she's just driven to do.
that.
And I wanted her to be able to relax. And she took to it.
That's
and
amazing.
then she's like really good at it. And so she's my everything. My wife is second. Unfortunately, I hope she doesn't, take that.
We're going to block her from this video.
No, she knows.
Just for
she knows that.
good
She knows
purposes
that.
later.
She
I
knows
understand.
that. We
But she
always
also-
put she'll tell you the same thing. My daughter's
We
first.
always put
and
our
then
kids
I'm
first.
next.
I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, so.
But your wife is also incredibly talented. So
Yes,
talk a
she
little bit
does.
about that.
Here in Orlando, we have homemade bells, and it comes from my daughter again. She's a Southern Belle. We're Northerners. And we have no idea how she wound up being a Southern Belle. Like,
Wasn't
nothing
she born
about
here?
me.
No?
Yes, but she has no involvement with anyone, like, really that's Southern. You are from New Jersey, but you're
Totally.
here.
I
Just
get
like
it.
everybody here is from somewhere else.
Correct.
So but she is a quintessential Southern Belle. So when I was working with my wife and we were making the move to vegan, and she was like, "Well, how am I gonna have cookies now?"
Right.
And we made the cookies homemade before that, and then she started dabbling.
Because vegans know dairy, right?
Yes, no dairy.
So you have to figure out
It's not just no dairy though. It can be very intense depending on which vegan you're talking to.
Correct.
It could be no dairy. That's a given. But then it could be no bone char. Like, it can't even come through. The process has to be done in a certain way. So you have to get like vegan sugars and vegan, this kind of things. You see a lot of people. Yeah, so it's pretty in depth. So when you go into bacon, which is a science, and you change those components,
right,
then usually the outcome, like, unfortunately, people who are vegan will understand this. And if you say vegan to people and you say desserts, they're like, "No, thank you,"
because they don't taste good.
Yeah,
in general,
exactly.
right?
But Belle's homemade cookies are vegan, and
they're amazing.
Don't taste. I wish I would have bought them for you.
See, right?
That was a slip on my part.
That's no judgment, my friend. Next time.
That was a slip on my part. But she's doing them throughout the city, and she started a cookie jar movement, and she puts cookie jars in select places, not just places where people have vegan. Her plan was to be able to do it where people aren't experiencing vegan.
Right.
So that people can experience and say, okay, well, vegan's not bad. Vegan isn't just rabbit food and salad. Like, no, you can have like the best chocolate chip cookie in the city.
Because Orlando has been, I think Orlando's very embracing of the vegan, vegetarian lifestyle, because we have, like, I had a guest on, Royce and Amari, I think he popped on earlier. They have an entire vegan modeling and entertainment company.
Wow.
So their events are all vegan, and he speaks vegan, but Orlando.
Speaks vegan. That's
Maybe I should hashtag that. He speaks
He
vegan.
speaks vegan is amazing.
But I literally don't understand it all, but I'm willing to try it because I think that Orlando's been so accepting, and so the community itself really wants to educate. We talked about that earlier, kind of bringing it full circle.
Right.
They just want to understand what that means. What does it mean to be vegan? How do I eat a vegan cookie, and what is a vegan cookie? Because most people like me who don't know, I would think vegan means I can't have any meat.
Right. So
it's so much more than that. It's a whole lifestyle, a belief system, and I'm slowly but surely being educated on it.
So vegan, yes, that's the surface. You can't eat meat. That's like the very beginning.
That's the basic.
Yeah, that's the very beginning. No meat. All right. So when you say vegan, like when we say vegan cookies, well, there's no dairy there.
No dairy.
And when you're eating a regular chocolate chip cookie, it's layered in dairy.
Yes.
So it's milk chocolate, chocolate chips, and then on top of that you have like fat butter, like butter that's
oh my God, yeah,
from,
it's totally dairy.
It's all dairy. So now what you have to do to be able to get something vegan is to strip all of those things out. So it's dark chocolate chips.
So then you have to figure out like the sugar. I didn't even think about sugar. So there's a vegan sugar, and then we'll wrap up because I'm fascinated by this whole conversation.
Right, yeah, the vegan sugars. So what we wound up doing is getting all vegan products and then making them work in a way that dairy products would work, which is something difficult for most people to do.
Of course. Well, it takes trial and error.
Yeah. Well, I'm super sauce. It happened pretty quickly. With me. It was
That's
like
the attitude
bang.
I wanted.
It was like bang.
I love it. All right, so we're going to share all of Anwar's contact information because I promise he has more than the Wikipedia. We talked about that, and we're going to work on that, by the way. We're going to share everything when we post the video. We're going to figure out how to share it through his platforms because we want to get your message out. You're very engaging. You're incredibly kind and...
See, John,
I understand living with a vegan, but I have found the food to be surprisingly good. John Wild's hilarious. John has that damn radio show and O-Town Radio, so he pops on a lot. He's a great guy, an amazing guy. So any parting words? So I promise you, so I've had so many messages which I shared with you. How do we reach him? How do we get to him? And so we're going to work on that. We're all going to work on that, but he does have platforms, and I will share them across all of my social media platforms as well. So any parting words of wisdom for them? We have a lot of questions, so tell us really quick and then go into your parting words of wisdom. You're part of a family that is musically inclined. I literally, you can watch the messages on my Facebook, not here, because I can see them, and they're like, wait, who does he know? How is he part of that? So if you would like to share that, you can. You can just make them sweat it if you'd like. My audience.
No, that's fine. I am brothers to the formerly known Mos Def Yasin Bey. That is how I came into the business aspect of the industry. My brother said if I could make it work, then he would work with me.
I love it.
It was no handouts. This wasn't like nepotism
no handouts
at all. Like
at all.
there was none. Like he was like, you have to be able to do what you say you can do. So I was like on a trial basis.
Came from your Wikipedia. That's why.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
People
no, that's
are like,
fine.
oh
I mean,
my
it's
God.
not
Because they recognize that name, and so then they're like, so who's Anwar Superstar? How does that all play into it? Which you can read the.
Actually, he's the one who gave me the superstar moniker.
Nice.
That actually came from him. So
you build it, and they will come. You put it out there, right?
Yeah.
You build the superstar. You name you a superstar, and then of course you're a superstar. All right. Any parting words of wisdom for them?
My parting words of wisdom is, don't get too serious about it.
Amen.
Like, live this life and enjoy the moments. You know, I think there's a lot of pressure on people right now, and people under immense stress and things. Just relax and live the life. Like, enjoy the moments. Sometimes I think people are missing the moments.
They miss them all the time. Be present.
Be present. Absolutely. Like, this is a moment. I enjoyed it.
It's been awesome. You have been such a joy, man. I love
appreciate it.
You were awesome.
That is awesome.
We're gonna post everything. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up to the club. We love you guys. Thanks for all the comments, the questions. He'll answer them later. We're gonna figure that out in a little bit. But I promise you I'll answer them too. We love you guys. See you back here around 3 o'clock. But thank you for coming on the show. We love you.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.